Good morning, everyone. Today's Tuesday, March 24th, and I have 5 inches of snow outside my house. This bizarre, crazy March winters that we get in New York State have dumped about 5 inches of snow out there. A couple days ago, I was outside raking leaves. It was sunny, like 45, 50 degrees. It was beautiful. And now we have snow. But I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to shovel it because we're not really supposed to be going anywhere anyways. So hopefully it'll melt in a couple days and we'll be all set. So folks, I hope you guys have been doing well in your coursework, your distance learning habits. Make sure that you're checking Classroom every day. For today's lesson for Global 9, we are going to do pages 29 to 31 in our Unit 4 notes packet. This is going to be the lesson on diversity in the Ottoman Empire. And we're going to focus today on a skill that we need some more practice on. We've been doing this a little bit in our See, Think, Wonders, and also our historical context questions that we do on some of our quizzes and our tests. But the skill is really called inferencing. I'll describe and define a little bit more of what that is once we start into the lesson. But we're going to be looking at 3 documents, and we're going to practice this skill of inferencing by doing some document analysis. So during this screencast lesson, I'm going to go through one of these documents with you, and then I'm going to have you guys do documents 2 and 3 on your own. And later tonight, I will post the absentee slides on Classroom that will give you some example fill-ins for these pages. Just as one more reminder, when we are done with these Unit 4 pages, after tomorrow's screencast on Wednesday, I will post some review questions, kind of like bell ringer style in a Google form, for our topics that we've been covering this week. And those review questions will be due by the end of Friday. So that will be your weekly task to submit to me to make sure that you've been keeping up on your materials this week and to get some feedback for you guys so that you can understand and see what you've learned this week. All right, so have your Unit 4 packet out with me. I'm going to jump over to show you what that looks like. So you should be on this page here. This is page 29. It says at the top, how did belief systems influence the Ottoman Empire? We know that the Ottoman Empire, being from the Middle East, is going to be predominantly made up of Muslims. So this is the group that follows the religion of Islam. But when we mention minorities, which is a word I'll be using a lot in this screencast, and you'll see in some of the text, when we mention minorities, we mean groups that are living in the Ottoman Empire that are not Muslim. All right, so I want to give you a little sneak peek at the 3 documents before I model the first one with you. The first document here is called Women in the Ottoman Empire, and this has a little bit of source information that tells you about the photograph that was taken. The second document that I'll have you guys try on your own is called the Janissary Corps. This has an image as well as some text that describes this elite group of troops, elite fighting force that was a part of the Ottoman military. And your third document is called Millets and the Jeets attacks. Millets were communities of the religious minorities, like Jews and Christians. So we have 3 documents to look at. The first one we're going to do together. So let's read our directions. As you observe the images and the text, write down your observations as well as what your observations can help you infer. So infer to means conclude from clues in the image or in the text, and use our minds, use our reasoning to come up with a conclusion about what the meaning of this document is. So the first document, Women in the Ottoman Empire. Always make sure if there's any source information, anything in italics that gives you information about the author, that you read that before going any further. That gives you some good background and good context on what will be shown to you or told to you in the document. So let's read this one together. Studio portrait of models wearing traditional clothing from the province of Salonika, Ottoman Empire. This photo was taken by Pascal Seba, who was a well-known Ottoman photographer, from an album depicting ethnic costumes from throughout the Ottoman Empire. The photo depicts the traditional costumes of from right to left, a married Muslim woman of Salonika. In the middle, a married Jewish woman of Salonika. And to the left, a Bulgarian woman of Prilepi. So now that we know a little bit about the photograph itself, I'm going to jump over to our slide so that we can fill in the See, Think, Wonder style table below. So one thing I want to point out is the descriptions for these tables are a little bit different than what you're used to in the regular See, Think, Wonder tables. Instead of See, Think, and Wonder, we've labeled them See, Infer, and then Usefulness. So when we are observing our document, we're trying to list 3 things that you see in the image above, or if there's texts, things that are mentioned. In the middle box, we're going to practice this skill of inferring, using those clues that we see or read about to draw a conclusion, to try to see what we can come to as a meaning, what we can infer about the message of this document and how it's telling us about the Ottomans and the way that they practiced diversity in their empire. The third box is usefulness. How do you think this picture and text would be useful to a historian studying the religious and ethnic composition of the Ottoman Empire? So this is a little different from the usual wonder directions where it asks you to write down any questions that pop into your mind as you're looking at the document. We're using this one to try to understand how this document can be used by historians studying the religious and ethnic composition of the Ottoman Empire, which is what we are. We're historians, and we're studying how the Ottomans dealt with diversity in their empire. So take a look at the document. We said that it's a photo of 3 different women, 3 different religious groups that were photographed living in the Ottoman Empire. So let's try to list 3 things in this column right here that we notice, that we see in the document, or that we also read about in the source text. And these can be basic observations, these can be details that you see. It's really up to you guys to find what you observe. But I'll give you a couple examples of things that I would write down. The first thing is I see 3 different women. The source information told us that they're from different religious groups, and that's kind of the basic, first item that I would observe is I have 3 different women. But what makes them different? That could be our second observation. Each of these women has a different style of clothing. And from the text source information, we know that they're wearing that clothing because they're from different religious groups. So it makes sense. And the third thing I would say is this, the source text, not necessarily something that was shown in the photograph, but that source text backs up that these are of different, these women are of different religious groups because it says that they are from different religious groups. We have a Muslim over here to the right, a Jewish woman in the middle. So our second box, now that we've seen some clues in the image and read a little bit of background information, let's see if we can infer, if we can make a educated guess, so to speak, for lack of a better word, about what kind of information this document is giving to us. So from looking at our clues of 3 different women dressed in 3 different styles of clothing that represents their religious and geographic background in the Ottoman Empire, we can conclude, or we can infer, that the Ottomans were tolerant of different ethnic and religious groups that lived inside their inside the Ottoman territory. For the third box, we're trying to put ourselves in this researching mindset of a historian studying the religious and ethnic composition. So how would this document be useful for understanding the religious and ethnic composition of the Ottoman Empire? It can be useful because it is a primary source. It's a photograph, so it's actually showing us and proving that the Ottomans had tolerance for minorities living in their society. So let's go back to our actual unit packet pages. So that is the first document. The second document and the third document, I want you guys to try on your own. But I want to give you a little heads up because these two have a lot more text to them. So as you're looking through the picture on the Janissary Corps, see if you can observe, details about how the characters are dressed, what they're carrying, what you think they might be doing. But also read through the text, because this text will give you a lot more information to help you infer, to help you understand what the image is describing, what it's showing, and what the meaning of this whole document is. And the third document, the Milits and the Jits attacks, this one does not have any images. It's just a text. So when you are, filling out your C table, you're really just listing 3 ideas, summarizing 3 points that you read about in the document above. When you get to the bottom of page 31, I do have our main idea box. This will be on the absentee slides that I post later tonight, so you don't have to worry about filling in that on your own. If you want to take a crack at summarizing things that we've learned about for the Ottoman Empire so far, go ahead, but do it in pencil just so that you can adjust your information when you look at the absentee slides tonight. So as you go through these, do your very best, and if you have any questions as you're going through, send me an email and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. But tonight I will post the absentee slides that will give you the examples of what you could have for these tables on documents 2 and 3. And just to give you a little reminder, tomorrow, Wednesday, we're going to do a screencast on our last couple of pages about the Mughal Empire, a Muslim empire that ruled over India. And then I will be posting on Wednesday the review questions that go with all 3 of these topics that we looked at this week, and that will be due Friday. So guys, have a great evening. Send me an email if you have any questions, and I hope you guys stay healthy and well. Have a great day.